Welcome everybody. We are so glad to have you with us today. We see some people even have their cameras on. That is awesome. We're so delighted that you can join us for today's Parent Forum, incredibly number 40 in English. My name is Charlene Margot, and I am co-founder of nonprofit The Parent Venture, now in its 7th year, and the Parent Education Series now in its 19th season. So we have Eran Magen with us again today, and a wonderful topic for the end of the school year. As we say, it's been a long Maycember. So we're going to be talking today about recharging the parenting battery.
Thank you, Charlene. Nice to be here with everybody and see some of you. I should add also the recording is only recording the person who's talking, and so you're fine if your cameras are on. And it's nice to see people. So if you're in the mood to switch on your camera, this way I can tell if people are falling asleep or if I should be going slow or faster. It's just very helpful. So I'll get going here, and then we can get to the part where we all have a conversation faster. Okay, good. We're seeing this.
Yes, that's perfect, Eran.
Perfect. I'll take perfect. Okay, so let's just start off by acknowledging the important and the obvious. You're doing great. Your kids are probably still breathing right now. You are still breathing, success. And the fact that you're taking time to just learn more and get more tools to get better and feel better is wonderful. I think good for you and good for your kids, really. So, I think this is just an important starting, like we're all starting at an A and then we just keep getting better. This is not going to be a test of anybody's skills. There's no judgment or, expectations here in particular. If you're here, it already means that you're an invested parent, and I'm glad to be in this club with you. So today's a little different in terms of the topic, because usually I talk about things we can do as parents and establishing relationships with our kids and how to cooperate with them and all of this. But today I'm going to talk just about us and how we can feel better. And there are a few different reasons that we want to feel better, and some of them have to do with parenting very much, right? Why is it important for us to make sure that we keep our energy levels up? I will speak from my own personal experience here. I can tell you that when my energy is low, I'm having a lot less of a good time in the world. I'm definitely less able to be the person I want to be, right? I'm much shorter, more short-tempered. I'm more impulsive. I'm definitely a less pleasant person. And I don't have as much energy to do stuff, whether it's to learn things I want to learn or to do things that are fun for me and hopeful. So life is just less good with less energy, at least for me. And of course, the opposite is true. More energy means more, better, and a funner life. And in part, it also means that I can be more the parent that I want to be, right? I have more patience and I'm able to slow down and be more thoughtful and uh, act in a more intentional way. So the questions that are worth asking ourselves when we're doing this kind of energy management and energy planning, I would ask these three questions. One is what drains your battery, and the other is what charges your battery, and the other is what makes your battery bigger so we can actually hold more charge in general. And I think these are questions that are worth really thinking about for a few moments, because the answers are not always obvious. So you know what drains your battery. Like you can probably think of the first couple of things very easily, the things that you don't like and you don't enjoy, and after doing them you're feeling worse than you felt before. But maybe extend the list out a little bit more. Are there things that are regularly happening in your schedule, or are there kinds of um, interactions that happen frequently, even if they're not scheduled? People that are draining for you, things like that. What are the places where you predictably lose energy, have less energy than you did before? Likewise, what charges your battery? What are the kinds of things that you enjoy? Maybe one of the most famous distinctions is between introverts and extroverts. And some of us get a lot of energy by hanging out with a lot of people, and some of us would rather sleep on a single nail than hang out with a lot of people. right? And we get our energy by being alone someplace and doing something quiet or being with just one person. So different people get energy in different ways. There's not going to be a single answer. Some people really like roller coaster rides, and some of us would pay money to not have to ever experience it, and so on and so on. There are lots of different things, but it's important just to know ourselves. What leaves us with more energy than we had before? And then a question that I think doesn't get asked often enough is what makes our battery bigger? What gives us more capacity to hold more energy for longer? So I map these questions to three kinds of behaviors that we all do to manage our energy. And I call the categories escape and recharge and grow. And escape behaviors are behaviors that are meant to stop us from experiencing something that is energy draining, right? So we just do something to get out of that situation. It could be literally getting up and leaving a situation that's not working for us. It could be doing something that's fun and fluffy, or eating something that's pleasurable, whatever it is, but it just kind of short circuits the energy drain. Recharging is something that after we do it, we have more energy than we had before. And that's hugely personally variable, like I said before, right? But that's this category of activities, things that leave us with more energy than we had. Whereas escape activities leave us with the same amount of energy we had before. It sort of doesn't, it's like hitting pause on the energy drain, but we don't necessarily feel better afterwards, but at least we got a break. And then there's growth activities, which help us build the capacity of our battery so we can have even more energy. And the way that these would map out in terms of the investment that's required for each type, I would say is that escape activities are very low effort, right? You take out your phone and you do a thing. It's an escape. You go to the other room. It's an escape. Whatever, you eat a thing that you like. Low effort, I would say fairly low benefit. Some benefit, right? Because it pauses the energy drain, but it's not a huge benefit. And then there's the recharge activities where we put in more effort and we get a bigger benefit. So this is something where we feel better at the end of doing the activity. So whatever it might be for you, maybe it's calling a friend and talking with a friend. Maybe it's going out for a walk. Maybe it's sitting at home and drawing or playing music, right? Whatever is a thing, and any of these for you could be a negative thing or it could be a positive thing. But if for any of you one of these resonates, that would be a recharge activity. You have to be more active. It's not passive usually, and you leave with more energy than you had before. And then the growth activities require significant effort usually, and leave us just better able to handle life. So it could be going to a session like this and just thinking about energy and managing that. It could be spending time putting together our schedule in a way that makes sure that we have enough energy or that we're able to sleep enough. Um, it could be meditating. It could be making changes in our lifestyle, right, in terms of eating and exercise. All of these things, learning things and making big changes. So bigger effort, big benefit in terms of the additional energy that we have afterwards, but just not easy to do. So I'll give you some examples of how I map this out for myself. These are all real. So here are some examples of things that over the years I realized that I do. Sometimes I'm feeling something with the phone. It's so fast, right? We sometimes don't even know what we're feeling, and the phone is just in our hands in a second, and we're distracting ourselves with it. So YouTube Shorts, small amount of effort. I would say it's an escape. It doesn't really do much else for me. I don't feel better afterwards, and I certainly don't grow as a person as a result of watching these videos. But it's an escape. Listening to stand-up, I discovered after a while, is much better. So I could be upset about something that happened, or I could just be kind of in a black kind of mood, and I'll drive and I'll put on a YouTube video just with the video off of a stand-up. Very low effort. It's definitely an escape. I often feel better after, like I'm in a better mood. I'm a nicer person to be around. So that feels like a superior activity for me compared to watching some shorts or like scrolling on a thing and watching people do weird things. I end up actually feeling better. It's the same amount of effort. So that for me is better to do. Reading. I really like reading for escape. I, for years, wanted to be the kind of person who can read books that make him smarter. And whenever I try, I fall asleep very consistently. I haven't been able to, but I did discover that I can listen to books to make me smarter. And so now I learned a whole lot about the Russian monarchy over the years by listening to audiobooks. But anyway, I read fiction, and that's again purely escape. It's very low effort for me. I really like it. I enjoy it a lot. It's a great escape, and I don't feel sort of, you feel not great after eating a whole bag of delicious chips. That's kind of how I feel after watching like YouTube shorts. I don't have that feeling after I read a lot. Like it feels nice. It feels like a good pause. It doesn't do much else for me usually. Sometimes there's something inspiring or interesting, but it's pretty rare. Mostly it's an escape. I do jujitsu. I go pretty regularly. I would say it's moderate effort. I need to like wear the special bathrobe and I need to get in my car and go there. And then people sit on me and try to break me in all kinds of creative ways. Um, when I'm there, I can't think about anything else. It's definitely an escape. It stops the external world. I leave there, although physically exhausted and occasionally broken, I leave consistently in a good mood. Consistently. It's just nice to see people. I like them. They like me. We're all smiling at each other. Like we're actually friends, despite the fact that we're trying to hurt each other in all kinds of creative ways. So it's something that I really pay attention to. And even though it's moderate effort, it's bordering on medicinal. Like in my mind, I have to go. It's not, unless there's a good physical reason not to go, like I have to go because it's so good for me. And I feel like partly because of the impact just on my physical health and partly because of the regular contact with community, I feel like I'm improving as I'm there. It's teaching me to deal with stress. I'm like actively thinking about, all the things that I need to be doing as I'm doing the activity. And you can replace jujitsu with anything else here, right? It's just this is what I do, but this could be pottery, this could be a running club, this could be a drawing club. But for me, like a regular activity where I'm learning something in community is just so good for me. And I feel like I'm growing as a result. Moderate effort. Playing music with friends, that's one of my favorite things to do. It's a big lift to make it happen. Just arranging and the schedules and finding like it's just a big lift to make it happen. The playing itself is not effortful, it's super fun, but so kind of the same as excuse me, some of the other things that I showed you before. It's a great escape. I don't really think about anything else while I'm doing it. I feel so good doing it and I feel really good afterwards. Um, I don't think it really grows me as a person, although sometimes it inspires me to get deeper into music and learn to do new things, and that's fun too. And then talking with my good friend Paul. Moderate effort just because it takes some coordination. He's busy. Um, but I love playing with him. Sorry, talking with him, and we talk about, everything going on. I definitely feel better after. I processed and we connected and we have fun and we complain about our own lives and about other people's lives and about anything that we want to complain about. And it's just great. And I'm often actually learning quite a lot talking with him. He's a good friend. He's very smart. He's very wise. So it's really a great experience for me. Excuse me. So this is an example of a set of my activities and how I map them onto this idea of effort and whether and which categories of uh, energy management they fall into. Because one activity can be more than just one category, right? And I really encourage you to do the same, right? If you happen to have a sheet of paper, or I guess most of you are on a computer right now, just like make the table and later on, or now if you're, you know, feeling like you got it and you're done listening to me, which is fine, then you can start filling it out. And for me, it was a big revelation when I first did this exercise, sort of intuitively. Um, I started to compare different things that I do as an escape and realized that watching stuff is really not helpful for me. It's like for me, it hits pause on the bad feeling and then unpause as soon as I stop. Just not helpful. And I lost some time in the middle. And then I realized, but stand up, fantastic. I feel better afterwards. Like it's actually helping me. And like that's such an easy switch, right? And so sometimes we can find escapes that are better than other escapes. Sometimes we can find recharge activities that are more easily accessible to us or easier to schedule than others, right? All these are wins. So just spending a few minutes, I think, can get you to become more efficient with your energy management and more consistent also, and just developing habits that are positive for yourself. So I think this is a helpful exercise to go through when you have a minute. A couple of suggestions as you're thinking about creating a kind of an energy management routine throughout the week. One is thinking about energy as something that you can build up. So sometimes we're just so bombarded by what's happening in life, and there's so little opportunity to make changes, and we're so exhausted all the time. We don't have to immediately shoot for the large effort growth activities that will leave us, serene on some mountaintop. We can just start with picking better escapes. And after doing this for a little while, we may find that we have more energy, which we can then invest in better recharge activities, or maybe scheduling recharge activities. Because right now we can't even think about, like, maybe we can't even imagine thinking about a class we want to take twice a week with other people. And like, when would it, like, I just can't even think about this. Fine. Start with better escape activities. And maybe in a couple of weeks, you'll realize you do have the energy to sit down and plan a kind of recharge activity. And maybe you do this for a little bit. And after that, a month or two later, you realize, like, I'm feeling pretty good right now. And you know what? Like, I'd like to learn something hard right now. Like, I feel like I have the capacity to do this, and it would help me grow in some way. Or I feel like I now have the wherewithal to sit down and do some, like, good, I don't know, financial planning that I've been postponing because I just never had the energy, which would help me just get more on top of life as a growth activity. So it's fine to build up energy slowly from wherever you are. Just work on the next category. Sort of like the opposite of debt reduction, right? When you start with a credit card with the highest interest rate. Escapes are really important. Escapes are things that we do so quickly and so often. Spending some time to developing good escape habits that don't result in us losing more energy, feeling worse afterwards, and ideally leave us feeling a little bit better afterwards. Um, it's a habit well worth spending some time developing. So I really recommend, if you're going to think about one thing as a result of this, is just developing your repertoire of healthy escapes. It could be just one thing. For me, it was like realizing I can switch to the stand-up videos, or realizing that I can read instead of watching a show. It's like a tiny bit more active, but it's not really effort, and I just feel better afterwards. Take pleasure where you can. Sometimes there are stretches of life that are hard. They're just unpleasant. And this is more of a general philosophical point, but you're a person and you deserve to feel good. And there are probably all kinds of opportunities that life throws your way to feel a tiny bit better. And it's okay for you to do that. It's okay for you to prioritize feeling good for a few minutes. Ideally, you're not hurting anyone while doing it. Maybe you're a little bit less, ideal in some other way, a little bit less productive, or a little bit less, I don't know, helpful even to other people. But if you need that moment and you can feel better, go for it. It's really important, and allow yourself to feel good when good things are happening. Allow yourself to stop and celebrate for a second when good things are happening, or to let other people help you. All these things, um, just part of that same principle. Just when life offers you a little treat, why not take it? Along the same vein, it's hard to be perfect. Some might say impossible. So it's okay when we're not perfectly awesome all the time. Learning to quiet the critic inside of us is a great way to stop the energy loss. Because so far, when I talk about escape, recharge, growth, these are all ideally energy adding activities, right? But I haven't talked at all about the other side of the scale, where all these things that we do that take away energy from us. That actually might be an interesting separate session. I didn't even think about doing that. But one of the big things that takes away energy from us is us telling ourselves that we're not okay, and that we should be ashamed of ourselves for something, and that we need to be better. And whatever kind of handle we can get on that will help us stop losing so much energy. And I will just say, by way of a very quick tip around that, is that for me, this is an experience that changed drastically when I became a parent. because I heard myself talking to myself. And then I heard myself talking to my son. And I realized I would never talk to my son the way I talk to myself. And then I started talking to myself the way I talk to my son, very explicitly. Right? I would start thinking something to myself, and then I would stop and I would say, if this happened to my son, what would I say? And I found such a nicer, softer, warmer, kinder voice with which to speak to myself. And my relationship with me changed drastically as a result of being a parent. And so that's one technique for going a little easier on yourself. Put it on the calendar, especially if you're at a point where you're feeling like you can schedule recharge activities or growth activities. Um, what is on the calendar gets done, right? What's on the calendar doesn't get usually pushed aside by other things that need to get on the calendar because you schedule around it. And if you have to, then you're already in front of the calendar and you can move around this activity. So ideally try to schedule some recharge activities in your week, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever it is. If it's with another person or people, even better. There's a sense of some social accountability, and it's more likely to happen. So as much as possible, just schedule fun and schedule recharge. Similarly, if you know that something draining is about to happen, I am a big proponent of scheduling something rejuvenating for immediately after, to just cut that loop of like being in the nasty, whatever it is, right? If you're meeting with a person who's difficult for you at work, at life, whatever it is, and the meeting is scheduled for Wednesday from 3 to 4, schedule a fun thing at 4:30 in case the meeting goes a little over, right? Schedule a phone call with a friend, schedule a meeting with a friend to go, throw a frisbee or whatever you do. Right? Schedule some bumps when you know that there's a predictable drain coming. If there's an activity that your kid does and is difficult for you or draining for whatever reason, logistically draining, emotionally draining, whatever, schedule some pickup time for afterwards. And again, especially if it's something that you schedule with another person, it's so helpful because you might be kind of slumpy, right? I don't feel like doing anything right now. I just want to sit here and do whatever. But if I schedule it with somebody else, I will go, I will do it, I will feel better. Oh, that's it. Okay. So a quick plug. Like Charlene was saying, there are two websites that I run. One is called Parenting for Humans, and it's where I talk about parenting in general and about connecting with kids usually and forming good, strong collaborative relationships with them. The other website is called divorcingdads.org. It's probably pretty self-explanatory, but the goal of that website is to give divorcing dads tools to stay connected with their kids as they're going through the process, because so often divorcing dads kind of drift off from the lives of the kids, and I think that's usually to the detriment of everybody. So you can go on either of those websites if either of these is of interest to you or somebody that you know. And for either of those, if you join the mailing list there that is pretty prominent on the website, then you'll get updates about workshops that are happening, about topics like this. There's a podcast that I do and I interview dads about their experiences, blog posts and articles. And then there are parenting groups that finally started after many years of threatening to start. If you want to get together with other parents, we do it bi-weekly. And just spend some time kind of taking a pause, sitting with people who generally share this parenting mindset and think together about what's working, what would you like to change, what's a possible strategy to do it, and just set some time aside to do intentional parenting rather than let it rush by us.